This is Kenya News Update today. A country votes in the dark. Polls have just closed in Uganda after a chaotic election day under a total internet blackout. President Yoweri Museveni, in power for 40 years, is seeking a seventh term. But here's the twist. The main challenger is a 43-year-old singer from the slums, and he's accusing the government of massive rigging. Coming up, you'll see the dramatic vote count inside an opposition stronghold and discover why this election could spark a major regional crisis. Meet Bobi Wine, the self-styled ghetto president, a musician turned politician who grew up in the slums of Kampala. His campaign has faced what rights groups call brutal repression. Hundreds of his supporters were arrested in the run-up to this vote. He wore a flak jacket at rallies, calling this election a war. The inciting incident? A nationwide internet shutdown imposed by the government just this week. The stakes? The future of a nation of 45 million people. But here's what nobody's talking about. The voting machines failed. Even the 81-year-old president, Yoweri Museveni, had trouble. He told journalists his thumbprints were rejected. The machine finally accepted a scan of his face. And then, something shocking happened. In polling stations across the country, voting was delayed for hours. Ballot boxes were slow to arrive. Biometric machines malfunctioned. Some blame the internet blackout. Bobi Wine cast his vote and declared, "We are holding elections in the dark." This is done in order to facilitate the intended rigging of the regime. He accused the government of massive ballot stuffing and arresting his officials under cover of the blackout. Here's the part that will blow your mind. Inside a Kampala stadium in an opposition stronghold, a crowd cheered wildly as returning officers read out ballots for Bobi Wine. The atmosphere was electric. But outside, the streets were filled with a heavy police and army presence. Authorities were determined to prevent the anti-government protests seen recently in neighboring Kenya and Tanzania. And then, a key revelation. The Ugandan Red Cross, deployed across the country, reported no substantive violence. Voting passed off peacefully. But Human Rights Watch denounced the suspension of 10 NGOs, including election monitors. The government said the internet shutdown was to stop misinformation. The United Nations called it deeply worrying. The implications are huge. This isn't just about Uganda. It's a test for democracy in East Africa. Some say Museveni brought stability and economic growth after post-independence chaos. Others see a military dictator clinging to power. The controversy. Another major opposition figure, Kizza Besigye, was abducted in Kenya last year and faces a treason trial in Uganda. The unanswered question, with official results due in 48 hours, will the people accept them? Do you think an election held in the dark can ever be fair? Drop your take in the comments. This was a vote under a blackout. Subscribe to Kenya News Update today for more breaking news from across the region.